morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you are. Welcome to my quarantine yoga as we are starting to slowly shift our way out, but we're still kind of in it, especially here in my county. But took a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a break. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just want to keep the practice for yourself, or maybe you didn't want to practice and you're okay to take those breaks. So today we are just going to listen to our bodies. We're going to flow. It's going to be a little bit of vinyasa, of course, a little bit of yin, but we're just going to take our time with our practice today. We're not going to go too crazy, but of course there's going to be moments, pauses where you can explore deeper into your practice. Or of course you can stay where you are, or if you can head right into a child's pose. I also just want to make sure that you have something soft next to you, whether it's a blanket, a pillow, sweater, whatever it may be, just so you have something to kind of create a little bit of gooiness within the practice, because I'm on hardwood floors. I don't know if anybody else is too, but they're kind of hard. So we're going to take our time here as we find our way to our backs. And as we find our ways to our backs, letting the hands soften, the shoulders, the face, the mouth, the belly. We're switching it up without any music today. It's nice to have sometimes no noise to take you away from the moment. And it's okay if the mind wanders. So often in our practice we're trying to control our thoughts, to empty it out. But sometimes letting them thoughts run rampant is a little bit easier than trying to lasso them, trying to pull them in. But what we can do between each thought is start to slow it down. Noticing every inhale and every exhale. Noticing how we can soften thoughts and the physical body. Thinking of the word empathy, and what does it mean to you? Empathy is placing ourselves in other people's shoes, to know how they feel or what they're thinking. But what's a little bit tricky about empathy is that sometimes we don't think about how we're feeling or what we're thinking, because we're so mechanic, we're so used to our routines, situations that we get ourselves into, sometimes the mundane things that we have to do on a daily basis, our chores, that we don't sometimes often stop and think about how we feel during them. Do we like them? Do we enjoy them? Does doing the dishes make you sad? But also thinking about our routines, and most of us had to change that up because of what we're going through globally. And as we filter our way back into our norm, quote unquote, whatever that will be, just noticing what things bring you joy. And of course, there's always those things we have to do. But those things that we don't really have to do they bring you joy? Or why are you doing them? Why are you on your yoga mat today? Things for me to create more empathy in my daily routines is patience and time. When I give myself time, I find more joy. Time to sleep in, time to cook a nutritious and delicious meal, time to sit without having to do anything, time to spend with my cats, time to do yoga. And there might be other things that to do to show yourself empathy, whether it's exercise, a nap, relaxation, maybe watching a movie with a loved one, playing video games, a hot bath, a cup of coffee on the deck, a campfire. What brings you joy? We're going to start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, starting to slowly wake up that body. Nodding our head left to right, right to left. Bigger movement. Maybe a yawn. Maybe some ankle rolls, some wrist rolls. Maybe a good old stretch by extending the hands behind, underneath the toes. Drawing that right knee into the chest, giving it a nice big hug, squeezing it in. We're just going to draw that knee to the shoulder, towards the chest, towards the shoulder, and towards the chest. Swaying the knee side to side, back and forth. We're going to do a little bit of exploration here. So I invite you to do what feels good, to support what needs to be supported, and to breathe through. So we're going to connect that left hand to that right knee. We're going to take that right arm out to either a goalpost or out to a T. But we're also going to grab that blanket or sweater or pillow. We're going to take it to the left side of our bodies here, alongside. And we're just going to draw that right leg across the body here. So you can always kind of lift up onto that left hip to create a little bit more of a deeper twist here for you. And just being mindful of our shoulders. You can always kind of fold that blanket or pillow to kind of bring it a little bit closer up. If that knee doesn't quite reach, and it's okay. Or you can always take the prop and place it underneath that low back for any kind of support. Maybe that feels, maybe that feels a little bit better. We're going to be here just for about a minute. Nice deep breaths. Maybe it feels good to keep that leg either bent or you can lengthen it through if that feels good. Just being mindful that we're still waking up the body here. I may not want to lengthen yet. Oh, okay, now look up towards the sky. Maybe peek over that right shoulder. And do about 2 more breaths here. Nice deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Removing that prop wherever you have it, whether underneath the low back or underneath that knee. And we're going to slowly draw that right knee back in towards the chest. Straightening out the body here, drawing that right knee back into the chest. So we're focusing still on the same leg here. We're going to bend that left leg, drop that left foot to the earth. Flexing through that right foot. We're going to draw that right ankle to that left knee, taking that right hand to that right thigh. So being mindful here that placing just slight pressure here. So we're not trying to push that knee towards the wall yet. Being mindful of the length that we can create as we try to open up the hips. And as we know, my hips are a little bit tight, so my pose may look completely different from yours. So maybe you stay here, or it feels good where you can take those hands and wrap around that left thigh and draw that left knee in to come a little bit deeper. That is a pose that does not work for me, because when I come into that pose, my shoulders and my head have to lift. And this isn't comfortable. So I'm going to let that go and just stay in that modification 1. Taking a breath, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Slowly, wherever you are, whether those hands are connected to that left thigh, we're going to drop that left thigh down. We're going to draw that right knee back into the chest. We're going to keep that left knee bent and that left foot connected to the earth. We're going to take the hands to the back side of that right thigh, and we're just going to extend that right heel up towards the sky. Pointing and flexing through that foot. Taking another breath wherever you are. And we're going to let that go. Drawing that right knee into the chest, getting a nice big hug. Again, swaying between maybe the shoulder and the heart. Whew. And we're going to let that go. Releasing that right leg nice and long. Sorry, kitty cat. And we're going to draw that left knee into the chest. Swaying that left knee between the shoulder and the heart. Don't mind me and all my yawns, I just woke up. As yoga, I feel like always feels the best right in the morning. Actually, yoga feels good pretty much at any time. But I do like the feeling of kind of wiping away all those cobwebs from your nightly sleep in your yoga practice. And we're going to let that go. We're going to connect that right hand to that, right hand to that left knee. We're just going to draw that left knee across the body. So again, you can take that blanket, maybe place it underneath that left knee, or you can find that sweet spot that we found before, underneath that low back for any kind of support. Take those arms up to a T or pole post. You can always keep that right hand upon that left knee if that feels good. Nice deep breaths here. Take about another minute here. Take a breath and exhale. Removing that blanket, block, pillow, sweater, whatever it is, out of the way. Taking that right hand to that left knee, drawing that left knee back in towards the chest. Lengthening through once again, drawing that left knee into the chest, giving it a nice squeeze. And you can go between shoulder and heart with that sway. And we're going to let that go by drawing that right leg, bending that knee, dropping that right foot right alongside the hip. We're going to flex through those left feet, drawing that left ankle to that right knee, taking that left hand to that left thigh. So we're lengthening here through the hip, relaxing the shoulders down to the earth. Yogi choice, you can stay here, or you can always take that hand, wrap it around that thigh, and try and draw that right knee into the chest. You can always kind of play around with it, but if you notice that the head and the shoulders lift, it's going to create a little bit more tension here. Of course, we're trying to release tension, so you can always let that go and just stay in that modification one. Some of us, it'll be easy peasy, the shoulders drop, the head drops, nothing changes, everything feels great. Taking another breath wherever you are. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Wherever you are, releasing that right thigh if you had that connection. And we're going to draw that left knee into the chest, letting go of that ankle as we draw it in, squeezing. And we're going to keep that right knee bent as we take the hands behind that left thigh. We're going to extend the left heel all the way up to the sky, lengthening through, maybe pointing and flexing. And we're going to slowly let that go as we draw that left knee in. We're going to draw now that right leg in, giving a nice squeeze, swaying side to side here, giving a little massage to that low back. And as we start to sway side to side, maybe exaggerating it back and forth, side to side, we're going to find our way up to a tabletop position, coming up to all fours. Whenever you're ready. And as we come up to our all fours here, we're going to spread those fingers nice and wide, releasing the tops of the feet to the earth, stacking those wrists right underneath the shoulders and knees right below those hips. We're going to inhale as we drive that belly down, looking up towards the sky. And then exhale, pushing through. Inhale, we're going to drop that belly. And exhale, pushing through. And do that 3 more times here at your own pace. Breathing through. Finding some of that patience, that empathy for our bodies. Noticing what movements bring you joy. Give you a good stretch. Maybe some that just don't serve you. And wherever you are, we're going to come to a neutral spine. We're going to start to sway those hips side to side. So taking the shoulders towards the opposite direction. And then to the other side. And then to the other side. And to the other side. And we're going to even that out. Staying back towards where we started. And we're going to let that go. We're going to now take that right hand in front of the face, extending left fingertips all the way to the sky. So maybe you stay here, or we can extend those left feet towards the back of the room, coming into what we call gate pose. So maybe you take the gaze down towards that left hand, and maybe back up towards the right hand, and then up towards the left hand. Find that range of motion in the neck here. Find those engagements to hold yourself up into this gate pose. Taking another breath wherever you are. And we're going to let this go, coming back down, dropping that left hand down. And we're going to keep that left foot back. But we're going to start to extend the hips towards the back of the room, trying to extend the weight as we drop into that heel to break into that calf pose, or break into that calf muscle. Where am I going? And then we're going to shift all the way forward, coming up towards, past the wrists, past the fingers, trying to extend the shoulders up towards the top of the mat. And then we're going to extend back into those hips, extend back into that shin, that calf, that ankle, the Achilles heel. And extending forward once more, coming up on the tippy toes. Trying to extend the shoulders forward, coming up over those wrists. And we're going to let that go. We're going to come back up to that left knee and right knee, swing those hips side to side. Now we're going to take that left hand in the middle of the mat. We're going to draw that right hand all up to the sky. And maybe staying here, you can come to that gate pose on the other side. So extending that right foot towards the back of the room. Trying to stack those shoulders. And taking a peek down towards that left hand. And then all the way up towards the right. Down towards the left hand. And all the way up to the right. Using our core to hold us up. Taking another breath wherever you are, dropping that gaze back down towards that left hand. And all the way back up. And slowly letting this go by drawing that right hand back down to the earth, keeping those right toes towards the back, coming up on the ball of that right foot. Now we're going to extend back into that calf pose. Ha ha ha. Dropping back into that calf. And making my own poses now here. And then we're going to extend forward, coming up over those wrists, extending those shoulders towards the top of the mat. And extending back. And extending forward. And extending back. And then extending forward. And we're going to let that go as we draw that right knee back in towards neutral, swing those hips side to side. We're going to drop down to those elbows, coming into a puppy pose here for just a moment as we extend that tailbone all the way up to the sky and be bowing the head down. So maybe you stay here, or it feels good where we can tuck those toes, transitioning into our dolphin pose. So engaging the hands and the forearms into the earth, engaging through our shoulders, drawing the chin in towards the chest, taking the gaze up towards the belly button as we tuck those toes and extend those hips all the way up to the sky. So you may notice that those heels are slightly lifted, or quite lifted from the earth, and that's okay. We're not ruling here for any kind of perfection. We're here for a stretch. We're here to give our bodies a moment, some love. We're breathing deep here. As you're trying to extend those hips towards the sky, you can always pedal it through, make any movements here that feel good, maybe find stillness. Taking another breath, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. We're going to take those knees nice and wide upon the mat. We're going to extend those hips towards the back of the room, coming into child's pose. Coming to that nice wide legs child's pose, dropping that forehead down, letting the hands drop. And knowing at any time during this practice that this pose is welcome to you, here for you, all the time. Providing some empathy for our bodies. As when we flow, sometimes there are going to be things that just not working for you today, does not serve your body. Always remembering that the classes I teach are all levels. So you can always take things a little bit further, one step further. Be where you want to be. going to start to liven up this child's pose as we extend the hands towards the top of the mat, spreading those fingers nice and wide. We're going to look forward, so we can transition into down dog, or you can stay in that dolphin pose with the elbows dropped. We're going to shift the heart forward, tucking our toes, and sending those hips up to the sky, downward facing dog, or dolphin pose. So we're going to start to try and melt those heels down towards the ground. Again, they might be lifted, and that's okay. We're going to release the shoulders away from the ears, trying to kind of hug the armpits in, trying to draw the biceps in towards the face. Engaging every inch of the hand, palm, knuckle into the earth. Maybe pedaling it out if that feels good. And we're going to slowly, wherever you are, step the hands towards the toes at the back of the mat. And we're going to hang here in ragdoll. So we're going to slowly drop the head, bend those knees. We're going to take those hands to the elbows. We're going to nice and slow let ourselves drop for ragdoll here. So the hands can drape if that feels good, if the elbow connection does not work for you. We're breathing deep here, taking another breath, inhale and exhale. Inhale. And then exhale, we're releasing all of those fingers down to the earth, and we're going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. So as slow as you possibly can. We're in no rush. We're preparing our body for length. We're going to take our time to get there. Slowly rolling up, and as we come up, the shoulders up to the ears and down the spine. Once again, up to the ears and down the spine. We're going to inhale those fingers all the way to the sky. And exhaling, hands heart center. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. Following that breath as we inhale, rolling up once again. Roll the shoulders up to the ears. And then exhale as we drop the shoulders. Release the hands alongside the body here. So we're going to come into that mountain pose. So the hands are right alongside the body here. Drawing the shoulders up and back, away from the ears. We're drawing that tailbone in, and we're tucking it as we're trying to zip those pants, those favorite pair of pants. Trying to zip them up. So we're tucking everything in, engaging through our core in the midst of that tuck. We're engaging through our hands, and we're lifting our kneecaps. Closing the eyes and noticing the balance between all four corners of the foot. Taking another breath, inhale. And exhale. One more, inhale. And exhale. On our next inhale, we're going to lift those fingertips all the way up to the sky. Open the eyes. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, fingertips all the way to the sky. Maybe a slight back bend. And then exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to drop those hands and slowly step the hands towards the top of the mat. We're going to come into that high plank here. So we're stacking the wrists right underneath our shoulders. We're making sure that there's a nice long spine here. So we're not slouching in or pushing too far up here, right in that easy medium, which of course is not so easy because we're using that core to hold ourselves up. Taking another breath, inhale. And then exhale, we're going to drop to the knees, chest and chin for 8-point salute. And as we inhale, we're coming into that baby cobra. So just lifting those hands just slightly from the earth, trying to draw the chin parallel here. Grounding those toes into the mat. And then grounding those hands into the earth as we push our hips back. For child's pose, just for a transition. And coming back into either that dolphin pose or down dog. What's so beautiful about down dog and dolphin is we can find a little bit of release in those wrists. It also creates a little bit of a different expression for our hamstrings. This is a slightly different type of stretch. And slowly, wherever you are looking forward, we're going to slowly step those toes towards the top of the mat. Coming up to those wrists. And we're going to finish here with a flat back. Micro bend those knees, hands to either the tops of the thighs or the shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhaling fingertips all the way to the sky. And exhaling hands to heart center. Inhaling fingertips all the way to the sky, maybe a slight back bend. And exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to drop those hands. We're going to step that left foot back. We're just going to find a little bit of a high plank here, or high lunge. We're going to take those hands to frame that right foot. We're going to make sure we're into the ball of that left leg. We're engaging through the left leg. And of course, that knee is stacked right over that ankle. Taking a breath, you can stay exactly where you are, whether you're flat palm, umbrella, maybe to the knee, or maybe we find that full expression. So we're driving both hips towards the front of the room. We're taking a peek down that front knee. You can see that big right toe. Shoulders are relaxed, belly button in. Taking another breath, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to cartwheel those hands to frame that front foot. Taking that left hand to the inside of that right foot. We're just going to come into a side twist here. Maybe looking towards the side wall. Maybe towards that left hand, or maybe trying to meet that gaze with that right thumb. And then maybe peeking down towards that left hand once again. And then maybe back up towards that right thumb. Taking another breath, inhale. And then exhale, we're going to drop that right hand to frame that front foot. We're going to engage those palms into the mat, stepping that right foot back. So maybe staying here for high plank, down dog, child's pose, or maybe running through your version chaturanga where we can drop down to those knees, untuck those toes, shifting the heart forward, micro bend those elbows. Inhale, dropping those hips, upward facing dog, cobra. Then exhale, transitioning through child's pose. And then either coming to maybe that dolphin or down dog. Poses don't even have to be all that complicated. You just gotta find those engagements, those simple tightenings of the muscles, so we can find the structure in our poses to hold us up. The tightness can be translated into engagement. And the engagements also can be translated into being mindful of our muscles, knowing that they're there, and that they want to be strengthened, used. We're going to look forward, bend those knees, take a nice slow walk towards the top of the mat, run those elbows and hook those palms. Finishing here, a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, fingertips all the way to the sky. And exhaling, hands heart center. Inhaling, fingertips all the way to the sky, maybe a slight back bend. And exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale to the flat back. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to drop those hands. And we're going to now step that right foot back, framing that left foot. I'm going to ball that back right foot. So again, maybe you stay here. Maybe flat palm, umbrella on the fingers, to the knee. Whew. Or maybe finding that full expression. Again, just being mindful that we are finding the engagement in the belly here. Drawing both hips towards the front of the room, bending nice and deep into that left leg, and making sure you can see that big left toe. Two more breaths here. You got it. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. We're going to cartwheel those hands to frame that front foot, taking that right hand to the inside of that left foot, extending those left fingers all the way to the sky. So again, you can find that side wall. Maybe the gaze drops down towards that right hand, or maybe all the way to that left hand. And maybe we play with it. Find that range of motion in the spine and the neck. Taking another breath wherever you are. Then we're going to drop that left hand to frame that right or left foot. Whew. And we're going to set that left foot back, holding your high plank. So maybe staying here, that down dog, child's pose, or running through your version, chaturanga. And finding your way back to down dog or dolphin pose. 3 breaths wherever you are. I'm going to look forward, bend those knees, take a nice slow walk to the top of the mat. Finishing here, a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. So we're going to bend nice and deep into those knees, maybe taking the hands to that ragdoll once again. And as we deeply bend into those knees, we're going to notice that those heels are going to slightly lift. And as we and as we slowly drop the hips and those heels lift, we're going to come into that toe pose, that toe balancing. So you can keep the arms where they are. Do a choice. You can always take them in front of you. Or maybe it feels good and create space between the chest and the knees. And maybe find that full toe balance. So maybe find different variations with the hands if that feels good. Challenging that balance wherever you are. So wherever you are, we're going to start to widen the step here to find our squat pose. And as we come into our squat pose, we're trying to soften through the heels. So in a perfect world, the feet would be parallel with the sides of the mat. But my body doesn't work that way. And my feet are going to face towards the outside parts of the mat here. So we can kind of sway back and forth here to kind of find our way there. And sometimes this pose is a little stubborn. Wherever you can find yourself to settle, and take those hands and bring them to prayer here, right at the heart. Trying to lengthen through the spine here. Taking another breath, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. You got it. Inhale. Then exhale. We're going to drop those hands, one in front, one in back. Whew. Trying to find our way down to our hips. Oh yeah. And we're going to find our way into staff pose. Whew. So we're going to flex those toes towards us. Lengthen through the spine. Take those hands nice and long in front of us. We're going to come back about a 45-degree angle. So we're going to keep the spine nice and straight, drawing the shoulders into the sockets. Slowly coming back. About a 45-degree angle. Try to keep everything nice and long. Chest nice and proud. Taking another breath. And then exhale, we're going to forward fold. So the hands may drop alongside the shins. The ankles may be connected with the toes. Maybe not. We're going to let the head relax. Letting the legs relax. Letting the hands relax. Just kind of letting everything drop where it's going to drop. We're accepting this pose for what it is. Accepting our strength, our flexibility within both our physical bodies and our minds. Knowing that word acceptance, fuel your fire just for now. So often we're so busy focusing on the better tomorrow that it's hard to kind of accept the very moment that we're in. And that's what I love about yoga. is we started out with probably a pretty busy mind. I was feeling a little bit busy in my mind. And as you practice, it kind of melts away. You're focused on how the body feels. How does it feel when you need to go a little bit deeper? How does it feel when you lengthen that leg and you bend that knee and you extend those arms all at the same time? I feel like the mind's always going to kind of flow with that steady stream of craziness, our to-do lists, everybody else's to-do lists. Yoga just has that magic. It just kind of takes that, all of that chaos, and we know it's there. We know that the stream is flowing. There's plenty of water from the mountains. But it's kind of like the wind that just kind of whirs by, rustles the leaves. Picks some of the mist up from the stream. I'm trying to be visual here, but my words aren't coming out all that great. But you get what I'm saying. So we know that the busyness of the stream is there. But we can be alongside it. The flower alongside the bay of the stream. You can feel the wind every once in a while, the mist from the stream. And then you go a little bit deeper here. Maybe it feels good to maybe connect the hands with the feet, the ankles. Taking another breath, inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to take those hands underneath our shoulders. Slowly tick-tocking those bodies up. And we're going to find our way to a fish pose. So we're going to take those hands behind behind the spine here, right at the sacral bone here on that low back. And as we come back, we're going to draw those elbows as close as we can to one another. Maybe think of those fingers as a triangle shape underneath our low back. And we're going to let the head fall back into the shoulders. Letting the chest expand towards the sky, towards the ceiling. Kind of letting go of all the things that you invite your tongue on. Let that throat chakra just kind of open up. And we're going to slowly come up out of this as we spread the elbows wide, letting ourselves come onto our backs. Drawing the knees into the chest. I'm just going to sway side to side. So maybe taking any kind of final movements that just deem necessary. Any twists that feel good. But as always take the little moments of that bliss to either maybe get a head start on your final Shavasana. Again, maybe some twists, maybe an inversion that you're working on, maybe some happy baby. But always taking those times to kind of explore, be creative, find what feels good and what simply does not. Whenever you're ready, no rush. Again, there's no music here. I'm not in any rush. You can kind of just take your time and wander your way into your final Shavasana whenever you're ready. Whether you're inverting or evening out the side of the body with any kind of movement, you're going to find the hustle and bustle in the mind, knowing that it's still there, somewhere in there, and creating space between each thought. As you inhale, acknowledging that the thought is there, and with the exhale, letting it drift, soften, relax, knowing that it'll be a beautiful day, or a beautiful night, or a beautiful afternoon. But we are alive, we are healthy, we are here, and for that, I am grateful. So you can definitely stay here as long as you want, but we are going to end our practice. Well, I'm going to end my practice and probably take a nap. But we're going to draw those hands to heart center. And just take a moment here of gratitude, empathy for yourself and those around you that might be going through a tough time. The world is slowly healing. We are healing every day. Thank you so much for practicing with me. The light in me honors and adores the light in you. Namaste.